There it is. You have to see if it's coming up.
What happened?
It did that trying to reconnect thing.
It's on just now. Do you think that Airtel is messing with you because you're
Changed my plan.
using all that data?
What, 1 gig?
Yeah.
Try to do this?
Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Sorry about that.
Keep an eye on it.
Radhika's skirt's a little bit cut too.
It's from the candle, I think.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. There's a certain allotment of data, and we have excess of data. So basically, we try to run that through on Gurudev's lectures or anything in the daytime so that it's smooth afterward. And it told us it was 100%, but sometimes it's not. So in general, it's been smoother than it used to be, but it's still a little difficult. So please forgive us. Is the picture clear yet? Is everything okay? Please tell me where I was, because I don't know where I was when it froze. I think I was speaking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he was dancing in front of the chariot. Do you remember hearing that? It'll come back smooth again. Hopefully. Rudra Prabhu, can someone tell me what I was speaking on? When it stopped? Dandavat Pranam. Okay. So did I speak about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he went behind the chariot? Anjali said I was sounding like a hell gatekeeper though. Yeah. So, please forgive me for that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radhika, was dancing in front of the chariot of Jagannath. But remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Radhika, is not seeing Jagannath, Lord of the universe. She's seeing her own Prananath everywhere. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would see Jagannath, he wouldn't exactly see Jagannath, rather he would directly see the Ishtadeva Srimati Radhika, who is Brajendra Nandan, Shyama Sundar Krishna of Vrindavan, Sakshat Brajendra Nandan. So as Mahaprabhu is dancing in front of the chariot of Jagannath, Jagannath is moving forward, sometimes stopping, stunned, witnessing this dancing, sometimes moving forward like this, moving at different times, sometimes moving more. As he would go further, he would go faster, then stopping. When Mahaprabhu would go around the chariot, sometimes at that time, Jagannath could not see Mahaprabhu's dancing and would stop. And they employed thousands of people to try to move that chariot, even elephants, so many elephants, but the chariot could not move. That word Jagannath has come into the English language in the word Juggernaut, which means either massive crushing force or massive immovable force. So the heaviest thing. And Jagannath did not see Mahaprabhu dancing, so stopped and was searching, where is Mahaprabhu, or also reciprocating, seeing that this is Srimati Radhika. And then Mahaprabhu, with his head, would just touch the chariot like that. And again, the chariot would start moving forward. But they were bringing Jagannath, meaning Krishna, back to Vrindavan on the chariots of their hearts with the ropes of their love and affection, the ropes of their attachment and praying to him. So this is the meaning of the Ratha Yatra festival, and especially for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, it is taking Krishna from the temple in Dwarka, the main Jagannath temple, to where? Gundicha, which is representing Vrindavan. So bringing Krishna back to Vrindavan. There's so many deep leelas related to Jagannath. Why do we not observe the appearance of Jagannath? At the time of Rath Yatra, at that time, there's generally quite a lot of discussion about him, but I don't know why they don't have a specific date. Of course, we also know that this Jagannath is eternal function. So. Now we're going to call out Mangalacarana. Dandava Pranama Vaisnava. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Shrimar Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvang Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Padabjadataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leela Amrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tvang Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Shrimar Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Nitti Namine Ati Martya Charitraya Swashritanam Chapaline Jiva Dukhe Sadarataya Shri Nama Prema Daine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Yati Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Krpabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyano Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahayan Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamhara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchirananda Namine गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगव्वराय ते गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वञ्चाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतोपङ्गोर्मम मन्दं मतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः कार्षन्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तु नः। वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावाग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम्। आनन्दम्बुदिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्। हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं कलो नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Dandava pranam all Vaishnavas. Now we will call for the mercy of Sri Gurudeva. Gurudev, Boro Krpa Kori, Gauravanu Majhe, Godrume, Diacho Sthana, by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, page 33. Gurudev Boro Kripa Kori গোরবনো মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গোরবনো মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান আজ্ঞা দিলাম রে এ ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম করো গান আজ্ঞা দিলাম রে এ ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম করো গান বড় কৃপা করি গোরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গোরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায়র পিবে এ দাসে রে দয়া করি কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায়র পিবে এ দাসে রে দয়া করি চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব হরি একান্তে ভজিব হরি শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ বাধকে এখন পঞ্চরোগে হত কেমনে ভজিব বলো বার্ধক্যে এখন পঞ্চরোগে হত কেমনে ভজিব বলো কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমারো চরণে কাঁদিও কাঁদিয়া তোমারো চরণে পড়িয়াছি সুবিহন পড়িয়াছি সুবিহন গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গোরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গোরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Now we will call for the mercy of Vaishnavas. Page 46, Sakala Vaishnava Gosai by Sri Radha Mohan Das. Okay, so now we pray that everything will be okay with your father in India. He had a surgery that went a little weird, abdominal surgery, but it was a little complications, but he got a little, they fixed it, and so he's doing a little better. Ramya Devi, tweet to you too. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, you'll find that there are a lot of sounds that we might ordinarily make that we don't realize that actually have some spiritual significance. Just like a simple thing like wearing tilak. Anyone who sees it, their sangsar is cut. In the same way that a fan is unplugged. The blades might continue spinning for some time, but very soon it will wind down. So, saying dweep, 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 or the nickname for Mother Sachi. Does anyone know what her nickname is? Not you, Sudevi. Yeah, but I want someone else to tell me, because I know you know it. Oi! Anjali, she got that one too. I don't know if it's pronounced I or oi, but anyhow.
It's Bengali, it's oi.
Yeah, Bengali would be a little oi. Okay. So there's so many vibrations, sound vibrations that we can make even accidentally. Like what Sri Narasimha Bhagavan told Prahlad, why he became his devotee in a previous lifetime. Mind you, Prahlad is the eternal associate of the Lord. He is always transcendental and is always performing pastimes in relationship with the Lord. But we see in history, or sometimes they speak about the past lives of eternal associates of the Lord, like the previous lifetimes of Nanda, Yashoda, and Vasudeva and Devaki. Well, they're the eternal parents of Krishna, so how do they have previous lifetimes? This is reconciled by our acharyas that certain personalities in the past were doing intense austerities to either have the Lord as their son or to have parental affection for the Lord, Vatsalya Prem. And these persons did intense austerities in such a way that pleased the Lord, and He granted them their desires. And so when Nanda and Yashoda or Vasudeva and Devaki appeared in this world, or Prahlad, these jivas, you can say, were able to experience it through them. So in a sense it is said that they entered into those bodies and experienced that Vatsalyata, or this, in the case of Prahlad, this Shanta Prem for the Lord. And then when the pastimes wind up and, you could say, re-enter the aprakat environment, the unmanifest to our vision in this world, in the transcendental realm, at that time these jivas take their own individual eternal forms in those relationships with the Lord. So they are not Nanda and Yashoda, but they would take the role transcendentally and eternally as the eternal associates in Vatsalya Prem for the Lord, as assistants to Nanda and Yashoda. So Narasimhadev Bhagavan is speaking to Prahlad about his previous lifetime. And what did he tell him? What did he tell him? He told him that in your previous life you were attached to one lady, prostitute, and she was also very attached to you. You both got in a big fight, so you couldn't eat anything. You were searching for her everywhere. She was searching for you. You couldn't find each other. In the process, it became nighttime. As you were searching, you circumambulated one of my temples, proving that the Supreme Lord Narasimhadev is eternal and transcendental. You circumambulated my temple, searching for each other, but couldn't find each other. You remained there the whole night awake, fasting on my appearance day. And because of that, now you have become Prahlad, my devotee. So this was, in a sense, a gyata, unknown or accidental, sukriti, spiritual merit. And by that, the Lord gave that benediction, and He manifested as Prahlad. So this is what Sri Narasimhadev Bhagavan told Prahlad. Yes, this is taught also. Our Shastras tell the same thing. Haram, which means abominable in, what is it? I don't know what language is it, Urdu or Arabic or something. Haram. It's like this. This is told in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, I believe, or Chaitanya Bhagavat. But because they're saying haram, it's like saying, hey Krishna Karana Sindhu, ha kada, what is it? Ha Devi Kaku Baragadgadaya Devacha. Like this, calling out in a mood of desperation, in a mood of supplication, in a mood of separation, calling out Ha Krishna, Ha Radha, Ha Ram. So still spiritual benefit is made. Maybe slowly over time, because the mood might not be exactly right initially. But even Valmiki, in his previous time, he could not even say the name of Ram. So what did Narada Muni tell him? Just say the opposite. Mara. Can you say that? It means to kill. Of course, he was killing so many. That's what he did. He was murdering and killing animals and doing so many sinful activities, but still he followed the order of Narada Muni. Mara, Mara, Mara. And he chanted that sound vibration, which gradually, by following the instructions of Narada Muni, changed to Mara, 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 until his heart was completely purified, and then he was able to witness all of the sweet pastimes of Sri Ram, and he wrote Sri Ramayana. So we don't know the power of this Nam. It is considered Nam Abhas. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, it is no exaggeration that even a single namabhas can alleviate millions or thousands, I think he said millions of pestilences or plagues in this world, or catastrophes. One namabhas is sufficient for that. So if we are actually taking shelter of Sri Harinam Prabhu and we are really chanting even namabhas, then there is nothing to worry about. Unfortunately, if we're feeling our pulses and see that we're probably mostly chanting nam aparad, maybe we're not chanting enough. Srila Gurudeva explained that if you're only chanting 16 rounds a day, it's not sufficient to keep your crazy mind occupied. You still have 22 hours left in your day to think about all kinds of nonsense. Even 32 rounds is not enough. He said minimum 64. That might, that should be 2, 4, 6, 8 hours, or maybe 7 if you chant a little quickly. If you're chanting focused and more concentrated, then maybe 8 hours. And if you're like Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Rupa Goswami, you might chant one Hare and then get completely lost in the pastimes of the Lord and then awake to that, or Hare Krishna, any couplet, and meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, and then come back to chanting the names of the Lord. So it depends. Sometimes you can chant faster or slower, but the main thing is the quality and also the amount. Srila Gurudev explained that in there, it might be that you chant one namabhas. Means something that isn't offensive. So because of being conditioned souls and so many sinful activities for millions of lifetimes and so many aparads, it's very difficult for us to chant offenselessly. But if we are chanting a lot, maybe we don't even realize it. My grandfather was on the phone and he just was like, Hari Bol. What was he thinking at the time? Was he criticizing? Maybe he was just saying Hari Bol. But anyhow, some sukriti was there, right? So, and my grandmother was doing a lot of preaching, which she didn't even realize. She was like, yeah, I tell all my friends that you're Hare Krishnas, that you believe in Krishna, that you travel around the world singing about Krishna. That your belief is that Krishna is God and that Krishna is the Supreme Lord of everything. Yeah, she said, I tell my friends. And we were like, how is it my grandmother is preaching to her elderly friends and all in the over 80s crowd about Krishna, and she didn't even realize she was doing that. And then one day she talked to me on the phone and she said, I'm jealous of your life. And she's like, you're traveling around the world, you're going to all these places, you get to do what you love to do Kirtan and speak about what you love to speak about and visit so many places and so many friends. She's like, I'm jealous of your life. And Sudevi said, you're welcome to come with us. We just, you need to learn how to play the kartals and come on. You also have to chant Hare Krishna. She's like, yeah, maybe. So this can be possible. Okay. Sudevi, I can't remember if I chanted the Vaishnava bhajan. Did I? One of the strange after effects of COVID is brain fog, and it hits at different times. And sometimes it's just like, did I do this? The other day I put on tilak, and 4 minutes later I couldn't remember if I put on tilak. And I was like, that's strange. So these things are going on. We have to continue making our endeavor to serve in all circumstances, in whatever situation. Endeavoring to serve and endeavoring to please. Gurudev said to try is bhakti, so we must continue trying. So page 46. Sakala Vaisnava Gosai, Doya Koro by Sri Radha Mohan Das. Right, we didn't Can you confirm with me? Did we chant this bhajan yet? Sakala Vaisnava Gosai Doya Koro More Dante Trino Dhori Kohe Edino Pamare Sakala Vaisnava Gosai Doya Koro More Dante Trino Dhori Kohe Edino Pamare Shri Guru Charano Ya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Guru Charano Ya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pada Padma Paya More Koro Dhanya Pada Padma Paya More Koro Dhanya Toma Sabar Koruna Bine Iha Prapti No Toma Sabar Karuna Bine Iha Prapti Nai Isheshe Ajogyo Mui Ohilo Nishchoy Isheshe Ajogyo Mui Ohilo Nishchoy Vanchakalpataruha Karuna Sagaro Vanchakalpataruha Karuna Sagaro Eto Bharasa Mui Dhoriye Ankara Eto Bharasa Mui Dhoriye Ankara Gunalesha nahi moro Aparadhir sima Gunalesha nahi moro Aparadhir sima Amayudhari aloke dekhao mahima Amayudhari aloke dekhao mahima Nama sankirtana ruchi Ar prema dhano Nama sankirtana ruchi Ar prema dhano E radha mohane deho Hoya sakaruna E radha mohane deho Sakaruna Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Doya Koro More Dante Trina Dhori Kohe Edino Pamare Sakala Vaishnava Gosai Doya Koro More Dante Trina Dhori Kohe Edino Pamare Vaishnava Gosai Jai Vaishnava Gosai Vaishnava Gosai Jai Vaishnava Gosai Jai Vaishnava Gosai Vaishnava Gosai, Vaishnava Gosai, Jai Vaishnava Gosai. Prabhu Krpa Koro, More Doya Koro, Krpa Koro, More Doya Koro, Krpa Koro, More Doya Koro, Krpa Koro, More Doya Koro. All Vaishnava Thakurs ki Jai. Now we will call for the mercy and grace of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, Young Kali Rupa Sarira na Dharata by Sri Madhav Das in Rag Malkons. Page 47. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki Jai. Yang Kali Rupa Shariran Dharata, 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 Tan Vraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutharika, 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 Kona Kapata Ugharata, Kona Kapata Ugharata, Yang Kali Rupa Shariran Dharata, Yang Kali Rupa Shariran Dharata, Virakira Hangsana Pana Vidhayano, Virakira Hangsana Pana Vidhayano, Kona Pritaka Kari Payato, Kona Pritaka Kari Payato, Gosavatyaji Bhaji Vrindavano, Gosavatyaji Bhaji Vrindavana, Gosabha Grantha Virachita, Gosabha Grantha Virachita, Yang Kali Rupa Shariran Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Javapituvano Pulo Palato Nana Vidho Javapitu Vano Pulo Palato Nana Vidho Manoraji Arovindo Manoraji Arovindo So Madhukar Binu Pankon Jano To So Madhukar Binu Pankon Jano To Vidyamano Karibandha Vidyamano Karibandha Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata O Janoto Mathura Vrindavano O Janoto Mathura Vrindavano O Janoto Vrajanito O Janoto Vrajanito O Janoto Radha Madhavarati O Janoto Radha Madhavarati O Janoto Soi Prito O Janoto Soi Prito Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Jakara Charana Prasade Sakala Jano Jakara Charana Prasade Sakala Jano Gai Gavai Sukha Pavato Gai Gavai Sukha Pavato Charana Kamale Sharanagato Madho Charana Kamale Sharanagato Madho Tava Mahima Puralagato Tava Mahima Puralagato Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Tan Vraja Prema Mahanidhi Kutarika 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 Kona Kapata Ugharuto Kona Kapata Ugharuto Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Yang Kalirupa Sharirana Dharata Rupa Goswami Prabhu Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Prabhu Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami Rupa Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Prabhu 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 Rupa Goswami. Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, oh Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai, Prabhu hai. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai, Shri Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Rupanug Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Now we will call for the mercy of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Page 61. Nitai Gunamani Amar, Nitai Gunamani by Srila Lochan Das Thakur. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani Aniya Premero Vanya Bhashailo Yovani Aniya Premero Vanya Bhashailo Yovani Premere Vanya Loyanitai Ailo Goro Deshe Premere Vanya Loyanitai Ailo Goro Deshe Dubino Bhakata Gano Dino Hi ভাসে তুবিলো ভকত গণ দীনহীন ভাসে দীনহীন পতিত মরণাহি বাছে দীনহীন পতিত মরণাহি বাছে ব্রহ্মার দুর্লভ প্রেম সবাকারে যাছে ব্রহ্মার দুর্লভ প্রেম সবাকারে যাছে আবদ্ধ করুণা সিন্ধু কাতিয়া মুহানো আবদ্ধ করুণা সিন্ধু কাতিয়া মুহানো ঘরে ঘরে ভুলে প্রেম অম্বিয়ারো বানো ঘরে ঘরে ভুলে প্রেম অম্বিয়ারো বানো লোচন বলে মোর নিতাই যে বানা ভজিল লোচন বলে মোর নিতাই যে বানা ভজিল জানিয়া শুনিয়া সে আত্মঘাতী হইল জানিয়া শুনিয়া সে আত্মঘাতী হইল নিতাই গুণমণি আমার নিতাই গুণমণি নিতাই গুণমণি আমার নিতাই গুণমণি আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষাইল যৌবনী আনিয়া প্রেমের বন্যা ভাষাইল যৌবনী নিতাই হে 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 ও জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম 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 নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিত্যানন্দ রাম জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ 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 पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय when Radheya was, I think it was Radheya, yes, he was serving Parshuram. He actually didn't know what his caste was. He thought he was a Brahmin because, well, he was the son of Kunti. But Kunti had an immaculate conception, the son of the sun god. So through mantra, she received this child, testing the mantra, but she was not prepared to have a child. In other words, at that time, from what I understand, she was not yet married. So she took that child, in essence, gave him unto the forest, and someone rescued him. Her name was Radha. And so this child grew up, although he was Kshatriya by nature, he did not know so. I hope I'm not mixing this up. But he was serving Parshuram. At that time, there was something that was attacking him. And he was able to continue to bear the pain of that, any insect or something that was actually literally eating him, while he was serving. When Parshuram saw this, he became quite angry. What is it you are doing? You're pretending? What? Okay, so he thought he was a Sutaputra, he thought it was something else. But he did not know he was a Kshatriya. So Parshuram became quite angry. Why are you pretending to be in a caste, meaning something that you're not? According to Vedic Dharma, this is wrong. According to one's nature, they are classified into their Varna, meaning Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, by one's Guna and Karma. Chaturvanyam mayashishtam guna karma vibhagasha, Krishna says. According to one's qualities and their activities. Now Parshuram could clearly see that this person who is pretending to be some other Varna is actually Kshatriya. And so he became quite angry. But then he received the revelation of this child's upbringing. I don't know the rest of that history, and the point was there was some ant or something that was biting me, and I was trying to tolerate it, but it was just I'm not a real Kshatriya, apparently. Think Sutaputra, son of Shudra. So yes, unfortunately, I guess that's the way it is. I'm not a real Kshatriya. I never claimed to be. But I was trying to tolerate it as it was biting me in the back while we were doing Kirtan, and I was being somewhat disturbed by it. So I remembered that pastime of Parshuram. But this is one of the reasons why the Lord descends. So many persons who are not qualified, assuming the roles of kings and spiritual leaders and like that. So there's false gurus, fake gurus, and false kings. These days one is made a king because they have a lot of money, although they might be in the lowest, most degraded state of consciousness without any interest in looking after their subjects. Still they assume these roles of leaders only for their self-aggrandizement, their gain of wealth, their own kanaka kamani and pratishta, and they claim to be leaders, but this is not the qualification. So from time to time the Lord descends and takes care of business. Madhav Das, Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. He cursed him to forget the mantras when he will need them to save his life. Yes, Tigger. Sonam, I don't think so. But one day I hope to develop this mood. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayar Das, 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 Anudas, servant of the last servant's foot dust. One day, by your grace and mercy, hopefully some humility may manifest within this hard heart. Now we're going to call for the mercy of Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari. Vande Visvambha Pada Kamalam. Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Page 339 in the Sanskrit section. By Shri Radha Mohan Das. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Oh, Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Kandita Kali Yuga Janamalam Samalam. 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 Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Saurabhakarshita Nijajana Madhupam. Saurabhakarshita Nijajana Madhupam. Karuna Khandito Viraha Vitapam. Karuna Khandito Viraha Vitapam. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Oh, Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Nashita Hridgata Mayati Niram. Nashita Hridgata Mayati Niram. Varani Jakantya Jagatam Chiram. Varani Jakantya Jagatam Chiram. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Satata Virajita Nirupam Vashobham. Satata Virajita Nirupam Vashobham. Radha Mohana Kalitabbilobham. Radha Mohana Kalitabbilobham. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Vande Visvambha Padakamalam. Khandita Kali Yuga Janamalam Samalam. Khandita Kali Yuga Janamalam Samalam. Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hari Gaura He 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 Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaur Hari Ki Jai. And now we will call for the mercy of Krishna. Why do we go in this progression? If Sachinandan Gaur Hari is the combined form of Radha and Krishna, then why are we calling for Krishna after Sachinandan Gaur Hari or after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself is worshipping Krishna and wants to engage all others in the worship of Krishna. As he told Raghunath Das Goswami, Vraja Radha Krishna Manasa Seva Koribe, always worship Radha and Krishna within your mind, within your heart. So he is also instructing the same. So we worship according to how he wants us to serve. He is manifesting to us in the form of Jagat Guru, and he is engaging us also in the service of Radha and Krishna. So, on that note, page 237 in our Gaudiya Giti Gucha. If you do not have it, or the Gaudiya Kirtan app, you may refer to the posts in the comment section of Jiva Pavana Prabhu. He posts the bhajans along with their translations and commentaries of our acharyas. So this bhajan is by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Very beautiful bhajan. Yasomati Nandana. Yasomati Nandana Vraja Nagar Gokula Ranjana Kana. So we're going to sing it with a slightly extended version, Krishna Premavati, the same tune with a slight stretch, the way they sing in the Gaudiya temples. Yasomati Nandano Brajabaro Nagaro Gokula Ranjano Kano 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 Gopi Parano Dhano Madano
Vraja Baro Nagar Gokula Ranjano Karo Yasomati Nandano Vraja Baro Nagar Gokula Ranjano Karo Vraja Jano Palono Asur Kulo Nashono Vraja Jano Palono Asur Kulo Nashono Nanda Godhano Rakho Ala Nanda Godhano Rakho Ala Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskaro Govinda Madhava Navanita Taskaro Sundaro Nanda Gopala Sundaro Nanda Gopala Yasomati Nandano Vrajabara Nagaro Gokula Ranjano Kano Yasomati Nandano Vrajabara Nagaro Gokula Ranjano Kano Yamuno Tatacharo Gopi Vashano Haro Yamuno Tatacharo Gopi Vashano Haro Rasarasika Krpa Moya Rasarasika Krpa Moya Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavano Nato Varo Shri Radha Vallabha Vrindavano Nato Varo Bhakti Vinodaya Shraya Bhakti Vinodaya Shraya Yasomati Nandana Vrajabara Nagar Gokula Ranjano Kano Yasomati Nandana Vrajabara Nagar Gokula Ranjano Kano Gopi Parano Dhano Madana Manohara Gopi Parano Dhano Madana Manohara Kaliya Dammana Vidhano Kaliya Dammana Vidhano Yasomati Nandana Vrajabara Nagar Gokula Ranjano Kano Yasomati Nandana Vrajabara Nagar Gokula Ranjana Kano Krishna He 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 Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Radhika Charana Padma Sakala Shreyer Sadma Jatane Je Nahi Aradhilo by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, page 102. Radhika Charana Padma Sakala Shreera Sadma Radhika Charana Padma Sakala Shreera Sadma Jatane Je Nahi Arodhilo Jatane Je Nahi Arodhilo Radha Padan Kitto Dham Vrindavano Charunam Radha Padan Kitto Dham Vrindavano Charunam Taha Jena Ashroyo Korilo Taha Jena Ashroyo Korilo Radhika Bhavo Gambhiro Chito Jeva Mahadhiro Radhika Bhavo Gambhiro Chito Jeva Mahadhiro Kono Sango Na Koilo Jivone Ganda Sango Na Koilo Jivone Kemone Se Shyamanando Rasa Sindhu Sananando Kemone Se Shyamanando Rasa Sindhu Sananando Lobhibe bujo ho eko mone 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 Radhika ujjvala rasera yacharya Radhika ujjvala rasera yacharya Radha Madhava Shudha Prema Vicharya Radha Madhava Shudha Prema Vicharya Je Dharilo Radha Pado Parama Jatane Je Dharilo Radha Pado Parama Jatane Se Pairo Krishna Pado Amulya Ratane Se Pairo Krishna Pado Amulya Ratane Radha Pado Bina Kabhu Krishna Nahi Mile राधा पदो बिना कभू कृष्ण नाही मिले राधार दासीरो कृष्ण सर्व वेदे बोले राधार दासीरो कृष्ण सर्व वेदे बोले छोरत धन जनो कालत्रो सुतमेथ छोरत धन जनो कालत्रो सुतमेथ छोरत करम ज्ञानो छोरत करम ज्ञानो राधा पदो पंकज मधुरत सेवनो राधा पदो पंकज मधुरत सेवनो भक्ति विनोद परोमानो भक्ति विनोद परोमानो भक्ति विनोद परोमानो भक्ति विनोद परोमानो जय राधे 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 जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय And now we have come to that point in our evening, the culmination of all of our, you can turn it, the culmination of all of our progression, our sequence, the Kram from Guru, Vaishnavas, Rupa Goswami, Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan, Gaura Hare, Krishna and Srimati Radhika, culminating in Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. It's a transcendental sound vibration, non-different from the Lord Himself. Actually, a little bit of speciality. Sarva Shakti is present within the holy names. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti. So, all the potency of the Supreme Lord is present within the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. In other words, it is more merciful but can also grant you whatever desire you have. So, our Gurudeva would always encourage us, don't have any other desire. Push all of those other things aside. Put them on the back burner or over the edge. And only have that one prayer. O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. Loving service. Make me yours. I am yours. Want to lead? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Rupa Gauri Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai Radha Vino Bihari Ju Ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra Ki Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayanitti Namine Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminitti Namine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanang pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring Yat Krpa tamaham vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Shri Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. And to all of our Rupanuga, Gauriya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas, past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we offer our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. So, we are continuing today with Vrindavan Das Thakur Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat with the commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Patit Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. So before beginning, we will chant our shlokas. Are you all ready?
We are.
This part of all of you is. Okay, everyone please repeat after me. Cheto darpana marjanam.
Cheto darpana marjanam.
Bhava mahadavagni.
Bhava mahadavagni.
Nirvapanam.
Nirvapanam.
Shreya kairava.
Shreya kairava.
Chandrika.
Chandrika.
Vitaranam.
Vitaranam.
Vidyavadhu jivanam.
Vidyavadhu jivanam.
Anandam buddhi.
Anandam buddhi.
Vardhanam.
Vardhanam.
Pratipadam.
Pratipadam.
Purnamritashvadanam.
Purnamritashvadanam.
Sarvatma.
Sarvatma.
Snapanam.
Snapanam.
Param vijayate.
Param vijayate. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Shri Shikshashtakam ki jai. Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. And now, we are going to chant the first shlok of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Everyone, please repeat after me. Ajanu.
Ajanu.
Lambita.
Lambita.
Bhujo.
Bhujo.
Kanakavadato.
Kanakavadato.
Sankirtanaika.
Sankirtanaika.
Pitaro.
Pitaro.
Kamalaya taksho.
Kamalaya taksho.
Vishvambharo.
Vishvambharo.
Dvijabaro.
Vijavaro.
Yugadharma palo.
Yugadharma palo.
Vande Jagat
Vande Jagat
Priyakaro
Priyakaro
Karunavataro
Karunavataro.
Shri Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. And now, everyone.
Sorry.
We've got these impressions deeply sunk into us because we listen to those Krishna stories tapes every night while going to sleep as little children. And so, if I say, and now, everyone, immediately we hear Hiranyakashipu's voice say, worship me. So these are the impressions. So sorry for that. That at that moment I'm saying, and now, everyone.
Because you said, and now, everyone, worship me. Sorry.
Maybe from now on I'll say, and now, todos los devotos.
There you go.
There you go. So, we are going to continue with Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat before entering into this transcendental literature, which will remove all of our difficulties and bring us to the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Sachinandan Gaurahari, thereby bringing us to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. We will first pray in the dust of the lotus feet of the author Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur and the commentator Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within these pages manifest itself within our hearts. Anjali liked that one. She's like, see, the Spanish-speaking devotees. And we are on, you recognize that one too? KD.
Did she?
And now, everyone.
Worship me.
Yes. This even I cannot possibly do. For you see, even I must die. My years are only
4,300,000 times this, times that, times 100, times 2.
No, 4,300,000 times 1,000 times 30 times 100 times 2.
See, I give up on the math part.
Yes, when I was a little kid, I was also lost on the multiplication on that part. You could have just said, my years are only 311 trillion of your Earth years, but it was more of a mathematics.
I remembered the times 2.
Times 2. Okay, so now we are on, apparently, I think we're on text 16. I'm just double checking here. Yes. So, in the previous verses, Lord Balaram has been glorified and Sri Nityananda Prabhu has been glorified in exactly the same way. That he is non-different. Nityananda Prabhu is non-different from Baladev Prabhu. Balarama Hoilo Nitai. Balaram himself is manifested in the form of Nitai. And although Balaram and Krishna are non-different, technically the only difference is their complexion. And Balaram is Krishna's own manifestation, Swayam Prakash. So that is the meaning of own manifestation in Sanskrit, Swayam, own, Prakash, manifestation. He is the first, said to be the first manifestation of Krishna. There is no difference technically between them. And however, there is a speciality. Baladev Prabhu takes on the bhav or the mood of ashray, that I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And therefore he is serving Krishna in all ways, in every way, expanding himself again and again and again in so many different forms, all assisting and serving Krishna, always glorifying Krishna, always engaging others in the service of Krishna. This is his nature. Thank you, Rudra Prabhu. So, in the last verse, there it was saying Lord Balaram has thousands of hoods. This is as Ananta Shesh, and all of his activities are extraordinary. Now we have come to text 16. Haladhara Mahaprabhu Prakanda Sharir Chaitanya Chandrera Yasomata Mahadhir. The Supreme Lord Balaram carries a plow and possesses a gigantic body. Although he is exceptionally grave, he is intoxicated by the glories of Lord Chaitanya. Sudevi,
Yeah.
can you allow the fan to come back this way also?
You were talking.
I know, but I'm okay now. Only when I'm singing it.
No. It was when you were doing your Mangalacarana you started choking. But okay.
Okay, thank you. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada comments, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, why? So Devi, he's like, how about we're not hungry, we're not thirsty?
You don't even want to see Krishna, up the hill, down We should have one day of just songs like that, and you could give purport to them.
We were in Srila Gurudev's room in Fiji, and he asked us, do you know any songs in English? And we're like, yeah, the Govardhan song. And he's like, what is it? And we started singing it. And we sang the whole thing from beginning to end. It was quite a long time. And he was sitting there with his finger. It was just us in his room with him, the small room. And he was sitting on his chair just doing this, like that. And then at the very end, he said, very good. But do you have anything a little shorter? And we're like, Trinavarta or Putana. And he said, let's hear. And so we sang the Putana song for him. And we just thought he wanted to hear us sing any song in English. And we just told him, these are the children's songs we learned when we were very young children growing up. And he said, okay, be ready. He said, tonight you will sing this in the program. And it was a public program with 500 people and so many guests in Fiji. And so many guests in Fiji. And he had finished his subject matter, and then he said, oh, one thing. And then he had us sing the Putana song, and then he spoke some of the pastimes of Krishna, and then, of course, he finished the program, but he had us sing that. I think we heard it recently on a old cassette that we have. So, did we ever give that one?
No, we have it here.
I think we need to give it to Lavanga Lata to be able to digitize.
No, it's not going to go public.
Doesn't it have the whole lecture on it?
Yeah.
Then it must go public. TK. So now we will continue with the commentary of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He carries a plow and possesses a gigantic body. He is exceptionally grave, and yet he is intoxicated by the glories of Lord Chaitanya. Sri Shukadeva Goswami describes the characteristics of Anantadev, who sustains the universes and is the Lord of Patal Lok. So he is sustaining the universes, and actually it said he is beneath the universes, maintaining everything. In the following words of Srimad Bhagavatam 5.25.7, dressed in bluish garments and wearing a single earring. He holds a plow on his back with his two beautiful and well-constructed hands. So this new fad that came in the 80s of wearing a single earring, it wasn't a new fad. Lord Balaram already invented it a long time ago. Wearing a single earring. He's dressed in bluish garments and wearing a single earring. He holds a plow on his back with his two beautiful and well-constructed hands. While describing the Prabhav and the Vaibhav, features of the Lord in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita Purva 62, Srila Rupa Goswami writes, you know what Laghu Bhagavatamrita is? Laghu means the light version or the small version. Now there's Srimad Bhagavatam and then there's Laghu Bhagavatamrita. From what I recall, after Shukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit, at that time, Maharaj Parikshit still had some time remaining. It wasn't that immediately Takshak, the snake bird, came and bit him. At that time, his mother, she asked him. His mother is the...
Daughter-in-law of Arjuna, wife of
Yes,
Abhimanyu.
she was the wife of Abhimanyu. Uttara. So she asked him, she said, there's a lot of complicated, how do you say, philosophy, tattva siddhanta and everything. In brief, can you explain to me what you have understood, what you received? And so Maharaj Parikshit revealed to her in a simple, condensed form the essence of what he had received in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is known as Lagu Bhagavatamrita. And so in Lagu Bhagavatamrita, it is something definitely worth reading because Rupa Goswami has shown us the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam via that medium. So in that Lagu Bhagavatamrita Purva 62, Rupa Goswami writes, Lord Ananta, the plenary portion of Sri Baladev, who holds the universes on his hoods, resides in Patal Lok. This Sankarshan. Now, yesterday someone was asking, wasn't Patal Lok the hellish planets? Apparently not, if Anantadev is residing there. This Sankarshan recited Srimad Bhagavatam to the Brahmanas and sages headed by the 4 Kumaras. His neck is beautified with a garland of forest flowers. His hoods are decorated with brightly shining jewels. He is dressed in blue garments, and he holds a plough, a club, and a trident in his hands. The word Mahaprabhu is explained in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita 7:14 as follows. One of them is Mahaprabhu, and the other 2 are Prabhus. So there's Mahaprabhu and then there's Prabhu, and apparently there is a difference. The difference is these 2 Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. So there are many mantras, but there is the Mahamantra. There are many Prabhus, but there is Mahaprabhu. So nevertheless, the plow-carrying Sri Baladev Prabhu is the personal manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Gaur Krishna. He is the predominating deity of the Sandhini energy, the original Sankarshan, the reservoir of all living entities and the original source of all Vishnu Tattvas. Anyone, what is the quick meaning of Sandhini Shakti? Whoever tells that will get, see what do we have? Fresh dab. You know, coconut, green coconut, water. With the malai. Sandhini Shakti. So he's the predominating deity or the Adhishtatri Devata of Sandhini energy. The original Sankarshan, the reservoir of all living entities and the original source of all Vishnu Tattvas. So a lot of devotees didn't ever know this, that Balaram is the source of all of the Vishnu Tattvas. Now, Krishna is the source of Balaram, but from Balaram then comes the Vishnu Tattvas. So the Vishnu Tattvas are manifesting by the medium of the Swayam Prakash, by the medium of Krishna's own manifestation, and then from there all of the other manifestations of the Lord come. So the Vishnu avatars or the Vishnu Tattvas have their source in Baladev Prabhu. He's also the reservoir of all living entities. How? All of the living entities are present within the form of Mahavishnu. When he breathes out, all of those universes manifest from his body, and at the same time, millions or unlimited jivas are impregnated within those universes. And when he breathes back in, all of those jivas, as well as all of that matter and everything else, enters back into its primordial state. The jivas are in themselves primordial in their original state. They don't ever change according to their nature. But still they enter back into the form of Mahavishnu. What is the proof? Right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narada Muni is telling that after having that momentary darshan of the Lord, he was not able to think of anything else. Nothing else was able to capture his mind. He was consumed only with remembering and weeping in separation from the Lord. At that time, he said, it was the time of universal dissolution, when the universe and everything manifested or re-entered into the form of Mahavishnu. So he remained within the form of Mahavishnu in suspended animation for the entire duration of the in-breath of Mahavishnu. And again, when Mahavishnu breathed out, he said, now I have come out. He said, then I came out as Narada Muni. This is how Narada Muni is explaining his own history. Very good. Krishna Premavati and Karin Kopen's existential potency. Sorry, Keshav Priya Didi. Yes, the existence potency. Sandhini Shakti. The potency by which anything has form, shape, existence. Anything like that. Also, Sankarshan means to attract, so he is, in essence, the gravitational principle in itself. And existence is there. So without the existence potency, there would be no existence of anything. No form, no shape, no sound, nothing. So Baladev Prabhu is the Adhishtatri Devata of Sandhini, or Sat. Krishna is the Adhishtatri Devata of Sambit, or Chit Shakti, that is relationship, bhav, exchange, love and affection, and all of that. What is your relationship? It is said knowledge as well, all information, all knowledge. And Srimati Radhika is the Adhishtatri Devata of Hladini Shakti, or the pleasure potency, which is represented as Ananda, or bliss, love and affection. So you have Sandhini, Sambit, Hladini, and then you have Sat Chit Ananda. So Krishna is said to have a form composed of Sat Chit and Ananda. Namamishwaram Sat Chit Ananda Rupam. His Rupam, or his form, is made of that. Ishvara Paramakrishna Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Vigraha also means the form, and that is made of Sat Chit Ananda. In essence, Krishna, Balaram, and Radhika are one and the same, but for the purpose of pastimes, they have eternally separated, and they exhibit particular individual, distinct functions. And so Baladev Prabhu is the Adhishtatri Devata of existence potency. Radhika is the Adhishtatri Devata of bliss, happiness, love, affection, pleasure potency. And Krishna is Adhishtatri Devata of this Sambit, all knowledge, all relationship, all bhavs, moods. There's so much more to it, but we're not going to go deeper into it right now. So, we've just heard the speciality between Prabhu and Mahaprabhu. One is Mahaprabhu, two are Prabhus. Who are the Prabhus that are referenced here? In that verse, do you know? I believe it's Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu. And Advaita is also a manifestation of Baladev. Advaita is Vishnu Tattva. Mahavishnu Avatar Shri Advaita Chandra. He is like Sadashiva. So this is Mahavishnu Avatar. Very, very complex tattva as well. Advaita Acharya, which we will speak about on his day. So, nevertheless, the plow-carrying Sri Baladev Prabhu is the personal manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the reservoir of all living entities. That's why he has such an affinity toward us. In Gurudev's lecture on Baladev Prabhu, Baladev Tattva, I think he gave it at Krishna Balaram Mandir back in the day, when they would always have him come and speak on Baladev's appearance day, Baladev Purnima. So he was speaking that he has a special affinity toward the living entities because they are like his children. So as wayward as they go, he always has hope and wants to help them. So he has a special inclination toward us. And manifesting as Nityananda Prabhu, we see the same thing. As wayward as Jagai and Madai were going, still he wanted to see them benefited. He wanted to give them blessings. He's begging door to door, saying, anyone, if you just say the name of my Gauranga even once, you can purchase me. And he's ready to give full shelter to anyone that just chants the holy names and calls out Gauranga with even one tear in their eyes. So he has this kind of nature, very parental, vatsalyata, toward the jivas of this world. In essence, we have manifested through him, and he has that kind of mood toward the jivas. So we take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, who places us in the shelter of Mahaprabhu, who engages us in the service of Sri Radha and Krishna. There is a lecture, I don't have the exact quotes, but if anyone knows where it is, they're welcome to post it. Being a fully devoted servant of Baladev, the author, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, uses the title Mahaprabhu to address Sri Ananta Shesha. Interesting. Who is the plenary portion of Balaram and non-different from him. The author's conclusion is therefore justified. So, in this case, we have Vrindavan Das Thakur referring to Nityananda Prabhu or Baladev Prabhu as Mahaprabhu. The word Prakanda Sharir in this verse is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita 5.119 as follows. The universe, which measures 500 million yojanas in diameter, rests on one of his hoods like a mustard seed. How big is a yojana? Does anyone know? And can you multiply that yojana by 500 million? Then we know the diameter of the universe. Except, is it going the length of the elliptical egg or the width of the elliptical egg? That's a question. And we know that the universe has the hollow inside, but the universal shell is also made up of massive amounts of energy, material energy. There's earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, but layers and layers. And each one is, I think, 10 times greater than the other. In other words, one cannot penetrate through the outer covering of the universe on their own potency. One cannot do so. We are entrapped within the material universe unless, of course, the Jivatma is liberated from all of these conceptions. You can find the details of that in the history of when Krishna brings Arjuna to Mahavishnu. They had to cross through the outer coverings of the universe. That was another Krishna story we grew up listening to. Quite amazing to hear how they were crossing through all of these layers of the outer covering of the universe. I thought a yojana was 800 miles. Some places it says 80. Here we're saying 24, not 24. Anyhow, we can estimate that this universe is extremely large. And sometimes they give us numbers just to show us that it's beyond comprehension. It's beyond our capacity to traverse. So they just give us a massive number. Like, how many bodyguards did Maharaj Ugrasen have? Do you remember? Jiva Pavana Prabhu? Yeah, Google might not know exactly. Some of them say that Kali Yuga is only 5,000 years instead of 432,000 years. So we can't always trust Google Dev. We have to take shelter of Guru Dev, and Guru Dev, who is representing Shastra, will give us the proper understanding. Not 500 million, Ramya Devi. Does anyone know how many bodyguards Maharaj Ugrasen had? No, way more. Just like the idea that the Jivatma is the size of 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. So if you were to actually take a scanning electron microscope and go down 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair, well, you still couldn't see the soul because it's not material. And anyhow, we never got the definition of the size of the tip of a hair. Is it 1/10,000th the size of a tip of a hair, or is it 10,000 times larger the size of a tip of a hair? So they're giving us some idea of its minuteness, but in reality we cannot truly comprehend, because the soul is very amazing. Gurudev said everything that we're telling you about the soul for now, it's just to give some idea, but in reality it's much more amazing than you can ever understand through your material mind, intelligence, and senses, because it is spiritual. It is superior nature. It is beyond the material, even subtle senses to detect or comprehend. He said only through Nam Bhajan will you actually, truly be able to understand it in truth. Are we like that far back? Does anyone know how many bodyguards Ugrasena had? He was the king of Mathura, and Kamsa had him arrested. Not the birth father of Kamsa, but the Kamsa was the result of some other situation. But anyhow, Kamsa had him arrested, and so many arrested. Okay, so we'll go back to the text here. So the universe, which measures 500 million yojanas in diameter, rests on one of his hoods like a mustard seed. Now mind you, the volume of the universe is very different than the diameter. Diameter is just the line from one point to the other through the center. But we have heard in Bhagavatam that the universe is in the shape of an egg. They are in kind of egg-like shapes, not perfectly spherical. So it's difficult to even estimate that. Thank you, Marcos Mandal. King Chitraketu prays to Lord Sankarshan in Srimad Bhagavatam 6.16.37 as follows. There are innumerable universes besides this one, and although they are unlimitedly large, they move about like atoms in you. Oh my God. Although they are unlimitedly large, they move about like atoms in you. So in that verse, it says, the Supreme Lord Balaram possesses a gigantic body. If the universes move around like atoms inside of him, and we are so microcosmic, infinitesimal, even within any universe, then how small are we? How consequential are we? This should bring about a feeling of humility, deep shape. So very deep humility should come as a result of our understanding our infinitesimalness in size. And yet, as Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said, Mahaprabhu has come to give us this gift that the most infinitesimal particle, by love and affection, can subjugate the infinite. Krishna will become subservient and like a slave to his devotee. This is the prospect that Mahaprabhu has come to give us. It's the impossible of the impossible. And yet it is possible by Krishna's potency of making the impossible possible, which Keshavapriya knows. And many others also. So these universes, which are unlimitedly large, move about within you like atoms. Therefore, you are called unlimited or ananta. Ananta means without end or unlimited. Please also refer to the Srimad Bhagavatam verses 5:17-21, 5:25-2, and 6:16-48, cited in the purport to verse 15 of this chapter. Very good, Rudragupta Prabhu ki jai. Another reading for the second line is Chaitanya Chandrera Rase Mata Mahadhira. Although he is exceptionally grave, he is intoxicated by the transcendental mellows of Lord Chaitanya. Text 17. ततोधिक चैतन्येर प्रिय नहियार निरवधि se dehe korena vihar. There is no one more dear to Lord Chaitanya than Nityananda. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya always enjoys pastimes within him. Niravadhi se dehe korena vihar. Lord Chaitanya always enjoys pastimes within him. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 546 states, we're at verse 17 right now. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. They are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya. Brajendra Nandana Jay, Shachi Shuta Hoiloshe. Narottam Das Thakur is saying that original Krishna of Vrindavan has appeared in Navadvip Dham as the son of Mother Shachi. And Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. Balarama Hoilo Nitai. And Balaram appeared as Nitai. The original, direct, supreme personalities, Krishna and Balaram of Vrindavan, appeared in Navadvip Dham as Sachishuno and Baladev Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Then in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 5, 8 to 11, it is stated, Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. So, himself, in the pastimes of Krishna, he is serving directly, and then in other forms he does the work of creation. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. In all of the forms, he tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. That same Balaram is Lord Nityananda, the companion of Lord Gaur Sundar. I don't know if they're in season yet. I will check for you. We have Daseri available here, but we may have some Alfonso. I think we have 1 Badam mango left. Okay, Keshav Priya. Whatever you like. So these forms for creation, there's Karunadakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, Kshirodakshay Vishnu. What's the other form for creation? Does anyone know? Because it says in 4 forms. He does the work of creation in 4 other forms. Is that Anantashesh? Without Anantashesh, creation could not exist. He's holding up the universes. He is gravitational potential itself. And Sankarshan. So in the same chapter, verses 120, 124, 137, and 156, it is said that Anantashesha is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. So we have heard our Srila Prabhupada. He speaks about Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead. And Balaram, or the pure devotee, or Sri Guru, as the supreme personality of Servitor Godhead. So here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is sharing that from these verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Anantashesha is the devotee incarnation of Godhead. He knows nothing but service to Lord Krishna. So our Gurudev said this in the lecture too. Every particle of his being is made of loving service to Krishna. He is thus called Lord Shesha. for he has attained the ultimate end of servitude to Krishna. He takes many forms for the service of Krishna, and thus he serves the Lord. So from Baladev to the ultimate end in every direction, of every possible function, he is serving Krishna. And to the ultimate end. He takes many forms, and thus he serves the Lord. He considers himself a servant and knows Krishna to be his master. Thus he regards himself as a fragment of his plenary portion. He regards himself as a fragment of his plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the same Lord Krishna, and Lord Nityananda is Lord Balaram. Lord Nityananda fulfills all of Lord Chaitanya's desires. Not Kahiro Dakshai, Karana Dakshai, or Karanab Dakshai Vishnu. Karana means to create, like Sarva Karana Karanam. Karana Dakshai Vishnu. And through his breathing, the universes are going out and in, or as you just wrote, in and out. It should be understood that Sri Nityananda Sankarshan Prabhu is the supreme absolute truth, Lord Vishnu. So we should not make the mistake of thinking that he is some lesser thing. He has this bhav, but he is not. He is non-different. And we should not separate Nitai from Gauranga in the terms of that, oh, I don't need to worship Nityananda Prabhu, I have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur will teach us a heavy lesson later on if we have this kind of misconception. Radhe Radhe, welcome. So, it should be understood that Nityananda Prabhu, Sankarshan, is the supreme absolute truth, Lord Vishnu. So he is the qualitatively equal, personal manifestation of the original personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In other words, Sri Nityananda Prabhu is the predominating deity of the Sandhini energy, the sustainer of the spiritual world, and the source of pure goodness. Sri the Gurudeva explained that without that Shakti, the existence potency, there would be no form of Krishna, no form of Radhika, no form of Vrindavan or Govardhan or Jamuna or any of the associates. Form itself is the responsibility of Sandhini Shakti. In the Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya 12:55 to 58, it is stated, Lord Chaitanya said, whoever worships Lord Nityananda with faith and devotion also worships me. The lotus feet of Nityananda are worshipped by Shiva and Brahma. Therefore, you should all worship him with love. If one has even a fraction of a portion of envy towards Nityananda, he is not accepted by me, even if he is a devotee. So, I guess Vrindavan Das Thakur chose to give it to us now through Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, who's quoting Vrindavan Das Thakur from later on. There he's saying that Mahaprabhu himself is saying that if anyone has even a fraction or a portion of envy toward Nityananda Prabhu, he is not accepted by me, even if he's a devotee. Lord Krishna will never give up one who has been touched by the air that has touched the body of Nityananda. I'm just thinking of that beautiful conception. If the air has touched Nityananda Prabhu and has touched any person, Krishna can never give up such a person. But Mahaprabhu won't accept anyone if they don't have a mood of honor, respect, affection for Nityananda Prabhu. If they have even the slightest bit of envy, Mahaprabhu won't accept. So if we want to be accepted by Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu is telling you how. You must serve Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Whoever worships him with faith and devotion also worships me. And we've seen this in the history of Raghunath Das Goswami, who tried to go to Mahaprabhu himself. Mahaprabhu sent him home and told him, don't be like a mad person, don't be crazy. And then finally, by following that order of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu said, Krishna will make arrangements when the time is right. Raghunath was able to come to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who called him a thief for trying to go directly to Mahaprabhu, gave him mercy by placing his lotus feet on the head of Raghunath. At that time, of course, by then, you could understand that Mahaprabhu and Krishna have all accepted Raghunath Das Goswami. He engaged Raghunath Das Goswami in serving all of the Vaishnavas, then sent him onward to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu accepted him and gave him unto the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami. And from that time, this Raghunath Das Goswami was known as Swaruper Raghu, the Raghunath of Swarup Damodar Goswami. Well, that's very, very powerful statement. Lord Krishna will never give up one who has been touched by the air that has touched the body of Nityananda Prabhu. If we really want the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we must seek the shelter and mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and our Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. He has asserted that Nityananda Prabhu has manifested before us directly in the form of Sri Guru. That same tattva, Nityananda Prabhu's tattva, is coming through in the form of Gurudev. This is Guru tattva. Because that Paramatma, who is also non-different from Kshirodakshaya Vishnu or Chaitya Guru in the heart, this is a non-different manifestation of Nityananda Prabhu or Baladev Prabhu. And that Guru in the heart, because the jiva cannot detect him by their material senses, and because we are not liberated enough to directly communicate with Paramatma in the heart, or know for a fact that what is communicating with us is Paramatma in the heart, therefore, he manifests to the external senses of the jiva, jive shakshat nahitate, guru chaitya rupe, because we cannot see inside, we cannot directly communicate, he manifests externally in the form of diksha and shiksha gurudevs. So, I'm going to answer a question I just asked before, or the idea. We don't see Nityananda Prabhu here on the altar. So someone asked Gurudev, we see Lord Chaitanya, but where is Nityananda Prabhu? And he said he's manifest directly before you in the form of Sri Gurudev. So we should not see that Gurudev is a different aspect. According to Shastra, Shakshat Hari Tvena Samashta Shastrer Uktashtata Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhur Yapriya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. All scriptures declare Samasta Shastre means all Shastras. Sakshat Hari. That Sri Guru is non-different from the Lord. Sakshat Hari, directly the Supreme Lord. Sakshat Hari Tvena Samashta Shastre Uktas Tata Bhavyata Eva Sadvi Kintu, but Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya, his mood, the intrinsic nature of this Guru Tattva is that he is always the servant of the Lord, and therefore he is the most dear to the Lord. Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya. So from this we can understand the idea of the Supreme Personality of enjoying Godhead, that is Krishna himself, and the Supreme Personality of servitor Godhead, that is Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Guru Tattva, all that is serving Krishna. Two halves of the same whole. For Krishna to enjoy something, what is giving him the enjoyment? This is all part of himself. It is within himself, but there is something that is supplying the enjoyment for him to enjoy. And so that supply of enjoyment is a non-different part of himself, but it has a particular nature. And so one is the servitor aspect, and the other is the enjoying aspect. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ar Sababritya. There's only one supreme Ishvar, controller or enjoyer, that is Krishna. All others, even Baladev Prabhu, Radhika, the gopis, everything everything. All Vishnu avatars and everything, their function is to serve the transcendental pleasure of Krishna. He is Vishaya Bhagavan. He is the original. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. And all others are serving that transcendental enjoyment. Baladev Prabhu, although he is non-different, and all of his manifestations, although they are non-different, are still in the mood, the bhav of serving Krishna. And that is also the function of Guru. Guru is not Krishna in his bhav, although technically Guru is the principle. Non-different from Krishna, but the mood is only serving Krishna and engaging all others in serving Krishna. So this Chaitya Guru in the heart manifests externally to the external senses of the jiva for the purpose of communicating, that we can confirm what is inside. Was that the voice of Paramatma? Did Krishna really tell me to do this? Sometimes people are like, yeah, I went inside and I asked, and Krishna told me to, leave my wife and family and go with the new one over there. I don't think that was Krishna. That might have been your mind. It might have been your ignorance, your illusion, Maya. But I asked inside, I asked Krishna. Why don't you confirm that with Sri Gurudev and see? Gurudev will always be concerned. Will this be pleasing to Krishna? Will it be pleasing to Mahaprabhu? Will it be pleasing to my Guru Varga? And then they will give instructions appropriately. They will not throw us further into illusion, further into Maya. This would be Jiva Hingsa. They will do whatever they can to try to help us. And if we leave of our own accord, then what can they do? But they are always endeavoring to bring us toward the loving service of Krishna. So this is the confirmation. Gurudev, and this is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus. The manifestations of Baladev Prabhu in that form, of Nityananda Prabhu. Diksha Guru is known as Krishner Rup, or the form of Krishna. Shiksha Guru is known as Krishner Swarup. That is the mood or the qualities or Krishna's own form. In essence, there's no difference between the two, as you will find out later from here and from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that to see that there's a difference between Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus, assuming that they're all on that transcendental level, this is considered aparad, or offensive, because it is the same personality, the same principle manifesting in these different forms. As our Srila Prabhupada told in that lecture that he gave in 1936 in Bombay on the disappearance of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, Guru is one who appears in an infinity of forms to teach you, me, and all others. Right, so we've also heard from our Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and I also read it recently, was it from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada or Param Gurudev, that if someone takes a third-class bogus person and props him up to the level of Uttam Bhagavat, then this is actually an offense to the real Uttam Bhagavat. So the Shiksha Guru, if they are to be considered non-different from the Diksha Guru, you must have the same faith that that person is qualified to sit on the same seat, that same asana of Vyas asana, as Srila Prabhupada, as Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj, as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, as our Gurudev. We should have that kind of conviction that yes, they are of that nature. Not, well, they're good enough for now. Then you can't equate them. You can't keep them on that level. Yes, Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru should have this understanding that they are non-different. But if we just take anyone off the street and say, well, this is my Shiksha Guru, then to equate that person, if they're not qualified, to Sri Guru, this will be aparad. So many things need to be taken into context. It's important to see everything from a holistic point of view so we don't over or underextend the definitions that are given by our Guru Varga and our Shastras. That's why it's important to always be under guidance of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Excuse me. think we can, let me see where we are here. Okay. It should be understood that Lord Shri Nityananda Sankarshan Prabhu is the supreme absolute truth, Lord Vishnu. So he is the qualitatively equal personal manifestation of the original personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. In other words, Nityananda Prabhu is the predominating deity of the Sandini energy, the sustainer of the spiritual world, and the source of pure goodness. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, oh, we already read that. Okay, let me just read that one paragraph again, so we will end on this beautiful and sweet note. So once again, reiterating, Madhya 12:55 to 58, it is stated, Lord Chaitanya said, whoever worships Lord Nityananda with faith and devotion also worships me. The lotus feet of Nityananda are worshipped by Shiva and Brahma. Therefore, you should all worship him with love. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling this. If one has even a fraction of a portion of envy toward Nityananda, he is not accepted by me, even if he is a devotee. Lord Krishna will never give up one who has been touched by the air that has touched the body of Nityananda. Patit Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudeva ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. As I'm reading and studying Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat with you, it's pulling together so many conceptions that you can say we've received through all of our years being around devotees, hearing different shastras and harikathas and everything. And Chaitanya Bhagavat is pulling it together. Why Nityananda Prabhu? What is the speciality of Balaram? What's the difference between Krishna and Balaram? Everything is given in such a clear way that it just solidifies all of the teachings that we have received. And so I'm so happy to be able to, I don't want to use the word read, because it's more than reading, it's a study and it's a meditation to go deeply into Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat with all of you. And thank you for your inspiration, also in your questions and your participation, which is adding so much for food for thought. And sometimes it's easy to see things from one perspective, but if a question comes from here or here, then it enhances the perspective, and we can look at it from so many different perspectives and dimensions, remembering the teachings of our Gurudeva and our Guru Varga, our previous acharyas. Oh, this one has said this has said this, it's told in this scripture, in this verse here, and everything starts to become more, the understanding becomes more and more holistic by their grace and mercy. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Gaur Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Hari Bol.
Shri Gurudeva
Ki
ki
jai.
jai, Shri Prabhupada ki
Ki
jai,
jai.
Rupana Gauri Guru Varga ki
Jai.
jai, Pati Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki
Ki
jai,
jai.
Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki
Ki
jai,
jai.
Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai,
Jai.
Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Bolo Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Shri Vino Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Shyam.
Gaura Premanande Hari.
Hari Hari Bol.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, and especially to reflect on the glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu in the words of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur and Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Also, we'd like to express our indebtedness
to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, which is our life and soul. Anjali, if you feel like it's beneficial, I think it's always beneficial, why not go ahead and read the glories of the Lord? And then when we come to that, you'll be so excited. You'll be like, I know this. So always remember the glories of the Lord. If you want to read ahead, it's no problem for me. I'm very happy that you're inspired to do so. So we look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna.
Radhe, Radhe.
Radha Vinodihari Ju ki jai.
Jai.
Shachinandana Gaura
Hari
Hari
ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Chivriya Madhumani. Hasta mañana. Kal milenge. Tot morgen. Bis morgen.
I don't know how to say see you tomorrow in Chinese. So
Nitai haula. Nitai haula. Nihan meli. Radhe, Radhe, Sham. Hey mom, hey Lavam. Radhe,